Welcome to the Honours Information Session. My name's Matt Piper. I'm the Biology Honours Coordinator. My details are here on the screen, and I'm here to give you a little bit of information, an overview of what Honours is and why you might like to think about doing Honours. So what is Honours? Well, you probably already know this by now, but it's an additional year to your undergraduate year. The key difference, and this is something that all of these points represent on the slide, are that you change from being a student that gets information fed to you by lecturers and then you reproduce it in exam papers or maybe some problem sets, to a person who researches their own topic, designs their own experiments, does the experiments, gathers the data, critically evaluates that data, gets a chance to analyze and present it and communicate it with others, all in the context of a lab group, while you might be working as an individual or part of a team or have mixed modes on that. And above all, you get some expert and personalized mentoring from an expert in the field during that research year. So it's a real difference from your undergraduate experience going into honours. And I can speak from personal experience, that transition was a big one for me. So what did honours ever do for anyone? Well, I thought I'd tell you what it did for me. So this is me in my honours year, starting many years ago now. And you can see I started out some time ago, and this led on to doing a PhD for me. After my PhD, I took the opportunity to travel and do a postdoc, and I moved to Holland. This is a building in Delft in the south of Holland. There's the Technical University of Delft. It's the Cliver building. If you know Cliver, he was the first person to invent comparative biochemistry, recognizing that what was true for the metabolism of an elephant was true for the metabolism of a bacterium. Exciting days for a biochemist. And so this was exciting for me. I worked in the same building as Cliver, and I got to do a postdoc there. Following this postdoc, I did another postdoc. I moved to London this time, to University College London, and I worked in this building. And I'm sure you probably know this person better. So this is on the site of the residence of Charles Darwin and when he came to London. And very appropriately, because this was the Department of Genetics, Evolution and the Environment. And I learned a lot about evolutionary biology there. Following that, after that postdoc, I actually became a group leader in the same location. And I was lucky enough to land a fellowship, which allowed me to do my research and grow my lab in that building at University College. It also gave me some freedom because I had my own salary, which meant I could go to other places in the world and see how they did science. And so I opted to go to New York, to the Rockefeller University in Manhattan, and to become a visiting scientist there for 2.5 years in the lab of a woman who was working on mosquito and dengue. And that was fascinating, and I learned a lot about neurogenetics there. And then in 2016, I moved back to Australia and started my lab at Monash, and see how happy I am. Look, it's all good. So I'm on the orange trumpet building that you know, the Biological Sciences building, where I run my lab working on Drosophila and the genetics of aging and the effects of nutrition on various other phenotypes. So what if you're not an academic? What if you're not interested in that academic path? And I should say that that academic path is mine, and it's not common to all academics. Everyone will tell you a different story. But what if it's not for you and you decide you actually you want to go on and move on to a job? Well, the honours year, not only is it a prerequisite for further study and going on to doing a PhD, but it provides numerous skills that I mentioned a couple of slides ago, which are highly valued by employers. Things like independence, time work, critical thinking, and so on, all of those things. And in a survey of alumni of the past 5 years, it leads to high successes of job outcomes in the same field. And when we've done surveys of employers who've taken on honours students from Monash, generally the response is positive. And in fact, if we ask those employers, would they take on another honours graduate from Monash Science, in every case they have replied positively. And these are all the features that you would expect out of those goals that I talked about earlier. They talk about independence. They talk about people being prepared for future work, people being knowledgeable, people having problem-solving skills and advanced communication skills. These are all things that you get to develop in your honours year under the tuition of an expert academic as well as in a lab environment. So who should do honours? So I would ask the question, do you want to be a full-time research, do you want a full-time research career? Yes, you should do honours. No, or you're just thinking about it and you don't even know if research is for you. The answer is you should do honours if you're thinking about it. So what should you do now? First of all, you obviously need to get the grades to qualify for honours, but I would start thinking about an honours topic, something that you think you can research for a year. It is a stressful year, it's a difficult year, it can be pretty tough, especially if research doesn't go the way you planned it. So you want to be working on something that you're interested in. So have a think about what it is that you're interested in about your degree and whether there's a research field related to it. Then, if you identify that research field and an academic who you would like to learn under, it's a really good idea to read up about that academic's work and see what they do and have a think about what projects you might be able to fall under their remit. I would write them an email. I've received numerous very politely worded and flattering emails, which I respond very positively to. You can write me one of those anytime. But that would occur for most academics. If you write to them, tell them you've been reading, tell them what you're reading, tell them what you're interested in, include your grades if you qualify, and ask them if they're prepared to take on honours students. And then obviously follow up to do honours. So this is my story. This is why I think you should do honours. I think there are good prospects for both an academic career path or a non-academic career path. So it's a really worthwhile year to take on. If you'd like to ask me any more questions specifically, here's my email address again, and I'm in biology, like I said. Looking forward to seeing you next year.